The Super Mario Bros. Movie blew up the internet because it's a genuinely good film that critics hated for no reason. It made $1 billion before it even hit Japan, and now Miyamoto has come out saying it blew up in popularity because of the negative Western reviews it received. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So, this is a Den of Geek article that I wanted to start with. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is a massive box office hit despite the movie's generally low critic review scores. Indeed, most people who have seen the movie tend to have both an opinion about the movie itself and those critics who gave it mixed to negative reviews. That crowd now includes the Super Mario Bros. Creator, Miyamoto. Now, I was shocked when the critic scores came out and they were destroying this movie because this is a film that I thought they were going to love. It's family friendly, it's entertaining, it's bright, it's colorful, it's cheery. These are typically things that they would rate high, but instead, the critics decided to pan this film for absolutely ridiculous reasons. First of all, they said that it was too much of a family-friendly movie. They said that the plot didn't make a lot of sense, and some of them even said there wasn't even really that much of a plot. Some of them even accused it of being offensive. I know that the clip of Grace Randolph went around of her calling it offensive because, of course, they really only highlight one female character in the film, and that just wasn't acceptable to her. That Peach was the only main female, but it was pretty shocking to see that they hated it because it's not like they gave it a 75 or an 80 and just said it wasn't perfect. They gave it 50s and 60s. I mean, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is sitting at a 59 and the top critic is only at a measly 42. And I was very skeptical about this movie at first. I was worried that they were going to, girl power Peach and she was going to be so annoying and she was going to be just overly strong for absolutely no reason. But this movie actually pleasantly surprised me. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a good video game film all around, and it does deserve every single record that it's broken so far. Going back to the Den of Geek article, though, it says that in an interview with Japanese media representatives, Miyamoto addressed pretty much every aspect of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and naturally the subject of its somewhat poor critical reception came up. Unfazed, he was surprisingly direct regarding those reviews and how they may have contributed to the movie's success. I did have a level of expectations that this movie would also do well, but I was very surprised that it went beyond what I could have imagined when it finally came out. You need some luck to achieve this level of success for a film. While many foreign critics have given the movie relatively low ratings, I think that also contributed to the movie's notoriety and buzz. And I definitely agree because people like me were calling the critics out. I am constantly calling out critics, though, whether they are entertainment or video game critics, because most of them just are completely out of touch with their audiences, and they don't really understand what people want to pay for entertainment-wise, and this was one of those situations where they looked absurd. Most people went to the theater, saw it, and thought it was just a genuinely wholehearted experience, but they decided to tear this movie apart, yet they give things like Captain Marvel 95% and Eternals 70 and 80%, which is absurd. I do think that the more negative press did add to the buzz of this film because people were calling them out. As he suggests, though, those negative reviews did probably help fuel a fire that led to the movie surpassing all box office expectations. The old "there's no such thing as bad publicity" angle isn't as solid as you might think, but yeah, those negative reviews probably did help add just a little more interest to something a lot of people seem generally interested in on some level, and I do agree. I think that this movie would have been successful if the critics gave it 95 or 100%, and users did the same. This movie would have done good no matter what they said, but I do think that because they rated it so negatively, it did push some individuals who were maybe not as excited about the movie to go and see it and rate it themselves. And obviously it's worked because the film has broken tons of records at this point. It is hitting $1 billion earned at the box office this weekend, and it only just launched in Japan. It's the highest grossing video game movie of all time in theaters now. It had the largest opening for an animated ever. I mean, the list goes on, and I'm glad to see that it has been so freaking successful so far. And because such a good job was done with our version of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I bet that the Japanese version will be the same. If you don't know, it is a little bit different. It does have some script changes, mainly to help iron out some of the nuances and the references that could get lost when translating the film to another culture, it says. So they are trying to tailor it to the Japanese market specifically, probably by changing some music up, maybe changing a couple of the jokes at the beginning when they're in Brooklyn. We don't know exactly how much different it will be, but I bet that it's going to do great in Japan as well. It only just started releasing there, so it will be cool to see, what those critics say about it and what those audiences have to say about it, and I bet that they're going to praise it just like we are. But heading on over to Rotten Tomatoes for a minute, just reading a couple of the audience scores, just reading some of the positivity here. I mean, as you can see, almost all 5 stars are sitting on the front page. Another great addition to the Mario legacy, brings together many eras of the game everyone's sure to remember. Thanks for another terrific family fun movie. It was a very cute movie and visually satisfying. Best movie in the world? I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I do agree that it's a very cute, visually satisfying film. As a fan of the Mario legacy, I did enjoy it. I thought that it was a good addition, and I would watch it again. It wasn't perfect, but it was very good. Everything from the Easter eggs to the references to all the Nintendo games from the past years, it was definitely a joy to watch. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do in the future. We've heard that they're toying with the idea of like a Mario cinematic universe. In my opinion, that's a little bit too far. While I did like this movie and I think that they should definitely do a follow-up, I'm just kind of worried that they're going to end up milking a lot of these characters, and we're gonna get the same formula over and over, and by 3 or 4 movies it's going to get really annoying, and it's just not going to be as good as this first one. They could potentially lose the magic, but I'm at least willing to watch some more because of how awesome this film was. But yes, Miyamoto has come out and addressed the negative Super Mario Bros. Movie reviews, saying, honestly, I don't particularly care, and I think that it helped the movie in the end because clearly it's doing fantastic, even though the critics panned it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.